Hey guys, it's me, Claudia J. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have my friend Omo with me.
Hi!
And we're going to do the first episode of the series. I want to talk about Black women, the revolution. And today we're going to be talking about Black women and mental health. So just keep watching. So, I want to talk about this topic with Black women and mental health because I think it's something that is not talked about enough and that people don't address or even assume Black women have any type of mental health. It's always assumed that we just have attitudes or we're mean or anything under the ladder. So I wanted to get someone else's opinion about their journey with their mental health and their opinion. So Omo, I'm going to ask you about your mental health or how mental health was viewed as you growing up.
Ooh, so I come from a very strong African background. So growing up, we never discussed mental health. It was more of pray about it, or it just really wasn't emphasized in my household. And I don't really follow anyone. It's just something that wasn't really discussed in my community. So I had to learn what triggered me and why I acted the way that I did through life experiences and just growing up and talking about it to other people. So it wasn't really something I focused on until college when it really hit tough. So yeah.
Okay. So I would have to agree. I'm also African and grew up in, around African people, obviously.
Yeah.
And in the African community, mental health is not a thing. It's either you're fine or you just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no one, even if they, I guess, consider you crazy, no one's trying to figure out why you're crazy, who's making you crazy, if there's a thing. Depression's not a thing. So, on the flip side, my parents, or at least really my mom, she was always really aware of mental health, which I feel really fortunate about because it's not something that she hid from me. So I had a little bit of more of a different experience. I wouldn't say it wasn't talked about in my house, but I feel like it was more so when I got to high school, just because I feel like I was struggling with other stuff. And I think that's really when mental health became important to me, because when mine, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, high school, middle school through probably the second year of college, I definitely feel like I was going through undiagnosed depression, definitely, but I didn't know what to call it until you start growing up and realizing yo, I think I was in a depression literally half my life and I didn't know. So, and I would say it probably started around 13, and I felt like literally from 13 till about 21, I felt like absolute shit every day. Yeah. And I would there'd be good days, and then for me I would be yeah, today's a good day, or I feel better today, and I'm you shouldn't even, now that I'm older, I'm you shouldn't have felt like that to begin with, to say you're having a good day, because I was why would you feel like shit 95% of the time? So I didn't really think about that. And then I got really into mental health my junior year in high school, because I took my first AP psychology class, which led to why I even declared psychology in college, which is why mental health in general is just so important to me, because that was just an eye-opener for me. So mental health was a little bit different for me. I feel like my mom talked to me about it and always would check up on me and stuff, but I think also when you don't know what it is, it's hard to talk about it. So I guess that was my journey with mental health. I've been in some dark places that I never really tell anybody about, but since I want to talk about this, y'all just gonna know, because I want to be open about it. So do you feel like you have ever gotten to the point where your mental health was questioned, or you were having some struggles and didn't know how to voice it because you were a Black woman, or was there other underlying things?
Oh yeah, growing up, I was always told I have an attitude. You have attitude, and this big all the time, and I still get told this to this day, and I just kind of own it at this point because I don't care. But when it first started, it was when I first got to college, people would tell me I have this demeanor, and I just didn't know why they were saying that. And then maybe my sophomore year was the first time I went to see a therapist, because I really was just going through it, and I just wanted to know, why was I so angry? Why am I acting this way? I think what triggered it was that I joined my sorority, and that's where I learned about mental health. So then I just wanted to really like see what was going on with me and how I can improve. So I went and saw my therapist, and I just found out so much about why I acted this way and what triggered me. So that's a little bit of my journey, and I still go see therapists to this day. And every time, as I'm speaking about it right now, I feel like I'm being judged because it's like, you go see a therapist? Like, what? Like, even in my head, I'm like, what would my parents say to me? Exactly. I'm like, what would my parents say if they found out I went to see a therapist or I'm going to see a therapist? So it's something that's really hard to speak about, especially when you grew up in a household that it just wasn't discussed. And then even though it's becoming more open to discuss, like, with people, I still feel like people are judging me. So it's still that mental battle. But it's, yeah.
Well, now that you brought up going to a therapist, that kind of rolls into my next question. So do you think there's like a negative association with going to therapy or any type of counseling? And, you know, and I also feel like because me and Omar are both African, but we also grew up in America, I think people have to understand that we have African heritage and then we have that culture too, but we're just as much American as we are African. And I think a lot of people don't understand how sometimes that can clash because, yeah, you have the African culture and then you have Black American culture. And for me personally, I always feel like there's been a fusion of the two in my household, but it's like, yes, I'm African and I hold those values very dear to me, but I'm also Black and I grew up here and I go through the same things that any person that was born here in Black goes through. And I don't think people get that. They're just kind of like, it's kind of like they feel like I kind of feel like they make you choose, like, are you African or are you Black American? And I feel like when you're born in America but you have African roots and family and everything, and you're Black here, you really just have both. So there's one doesn't outweigh the other. So like when we talk about the Black American community or Black community as a whole, I'm addressing it from an American point of view, but I'm also addressing it. There's also the same issues in the African community, but it may be different because of culture, which I don't think people understand. Like there's a lot of the African community issues are Black American community issues. And at the end of the day, whether you want to be Black, African American, blue, purple, whatever, African people, Black people, there's a lot of the same issues. It's just like there's obviously cultural differences, but a lot of the issues, the main issues are still the same, including mental health. So I think we should just put that out there.
That you bring that up, because I was just about to say, like, growing up, my household was like super duper African. Like if you were to walk in there, it was like a mini Africa, and then I'd go out into the world and it was
plantain.
Yeah, everything. Like it's hard for me to say like I'm American just for the fact that I grew up so African. But I definitely understand what you're saying when you say that when you step out into the world, it's like I still embody African American issues because that's still
still me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's just the culture mix.
It's
really just both. Like I can't say one is better than the other. Like when I see on Twitter these conversations about Black American this and African this, and this is why I've been listening to hip hop. But that's like I'm born in America, but I'm just as African as I am American, and that's just me. Like I can't pick one. They're both just as important. So when it comes to mental health, I feel like as all just people of color, we need to just talk about it more and just address it. And I feel like the Black community is Black American community is slowly getting there.
Yeah.
African community,
we behind.
We got behind. We are honestly we're behind on a lot of things because again we get into culture, tradition, just deep rooted issues, and I think a lot of it because it's culture, they don't necessarily see it as a problem, but I feel like culture evolves. So even though it's culture, it doesn't necessarily make it right, if that makes any sense. But Yes, with mental health, that it is. So
Africa is just stubborn.
we just, we gonna probably talk about that another video. But yes, when it, getting back to mental health, like counseling and everything. So I kind of go back with what you said. College, that's when I even found out about I knew about counseling. Actually, I'm lying. I knew about counseling and everything since high school because I had friends going to therapy in high school. Some of the people closest to me had gone to therapy, and I had always thought about what it'd be like to go. But again, it's never something that there's always a negative stigma attached to it. And being a psych major and also trying to possibly make that my career field into being a therapist and wanting to focus specifically on people of color, if I'm going to pursue that route, it's just, you're fighting a stigma. So it's like, even if you want to talk about mental health, people are going to slink to you in private. Right. So it's like, okay, because that's what I really want. If I go back and get my master's, that is what I want to focus on, is mental health in communities of color, because it's just such a stigma. But it's like, how do you get that conversation going without the judgment? Well, I'm not going to say without the judgment, because there's going to be judgment anyway. Yeah. But I think a lot of the issue with not only Black Americans, Africans, or people of color in general is religion. Religion plays a huge part in why mental health is kind of pushed to the side. Because if I told you how many times I heard about just pray about it, or the devil's just trying to get you, and it's like, okay, I get all that, but praying is just I'm not gonna say I don't have faith in something or anything, but praying's not gonna work for that. It don't work for everything. It's a foundation for stuff. It can guide you, but it's not going to fix it. And I think that's where I have my issue a lot of the time.
It's just wow, I can't speak. It's interesting that you bring that up, because just with what has happened, hate to bring politics up, but just with the election, people are like, just pray about it, everything will be fine. I don't want to pray. I would be angry.
I don't talk about this.
Be fuck off.
Let me feel my emotions.
Sorry, I cussed. Okay, I'm pissed. I don't want to be told. And that's one thing I like praying. I do pray, but at the end of the day, I feel like that's dismissive when you tell someone to just pray about it, or just let it happen or something. No, I want to be upset. I want to feel my feelings. And I feel like sometimes in the Black community, we're so dismissive of that, and we just lean on religion. And that's where the issue comes in, where we're just not able to open up because someone's just going to dismiss it that way. So yeah, I definitely feel like religion does play a huge role in that. And that's where I have my issues with it, because there's times where people just really gotta let loose, and if people want to cry, let them cry. If they want to be angry, let them hit something. Not me, but just let them feel. And I think that's where our issue is.
I don't my whole thing is, I guess to summarize my thought, I don't like praying with no action.
Yes.
So that's what a lot of people are about. Is just pray about it, let it go. Yes. And I'm all about, putting your aspirations out there, your prayers, whatever. But now that we praying and we out there, what are we actually doing that I can possibly do to move forward? And a lot of people don't move forward.
Don't it say in the Bible, you gotta put some action behind the prayer anyway? That's like praying
help
for
those that want to help themselves.
Right? Didn't it say in the Bible, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not gonna pray for an A and then do nothing to get the A. That's not how it works, right?
Prayer with no action to me is pointless.